So this is the project today. As you know, the rear end on the Nova that we built, or I built for it, doesn't work. The 10 bolt that's on this guy, I built it. I put a new carrier in it. I put a locker in it, an Auburn gear cone style posi. Went through new bearings, new seals, the whole 9 yards, set it up, which I was very proud of myself for, because it's only like the second or third rear end I've ever built. But it turned out really well. Everything looked perfecto in it, so I was excited about it, but it didn't work. So it was too wide for my wheel and tire combination. So the options are shorten that one, which I really don't want to touch it at this point because it's fresh, or find another rear end that's going to work. And I found this rear end. Actually, my brother found it. He had it. It's out of a box style S10, so like a mid-80s S10. Somebody had taken and put small block 383 in that S10 and did a bunch of work to it, and they beefed up the rear end. This is the factory rear end that I think it's a 7.5, so I know you guys are a 7.5. There's a weak, blah blah. Yeah, this one's got a lot of work done to it. I think it's got aftermarket axles, it's got an aftermarket carrier, it's got a new GM, I think it's 342 rear end gear. I know it is, I just checked it. So it's pretty beefy for what it is. I mean, I'm not going to be launching it like $6 grand, so I think this is going to do just fine for us. And here's the thing, it's 3 inches shorter than our stock. I don't know if you can see that, sun glare is kind of crazy. It's 3 inches shorter than our stock rear end, so that's exactly what we need. We need 1.5 inches off each side so we can clear our wheels and tires and our disc brake kit. The problem is the spring perches that are on our car on the Nova are different than an S10, so we got to cut these off, and you can see I started that on this side. But also the brake perch, if you will, this brake bracket is different on our car, so I'm gonna have to take these off, and I've ordered some flanges, brake flange, axle in flanges, whatever they're called, for this thing. So I'm waiting on them. They'll be here anytime. I was hoping they would be here by now so I could have everything here, test fit it, and mock it up so I could do this video all in one day. Not gonna happen. So right now I'm just gonna prepping this rear end, cutting it down, or cutting the flanges off, and getting it prepped so I can clean it up. I'm gonna put a new pinion seal in it. The pinion seal is a little sloppy in this one, and it's leaking a little bit. So I'm gonna do that, but everything else in the rear end is set up pretty well. I didn't check backlash on it, but I can feel it a little loose, but I think it's probably okay. But I'll put new seals in it, and I'll put a new pinion seal in it. Yeah, and I think it'll be great. We'll have to set it up and get the perch angles correct on it before we weld them in. All that good stuff. That's where we're at. So I'm gonna keep grinding away on this guy. Got my eye protection on, my ear protection. These Walker, these things are awesome. I can still hear everything that's going on around me, all the ambient noise. It's got microphones to do that. I can hear all that stuff, but I don't hear all of the super loud high decimal stuff, so it saves you hearing. Guys, it's the first set I've ever had. I've always just put on, you know, earplugs in or whatnot, or just put my earbuds in and listen to music while I'm doing it to kind of protect my ears. So I've always had ear protection. But these are the first ones that I've ever had like this that have the ambient noise, you know, microphones on it. They are awesome. Like, I don't even want to take them off. Like, usually I'm taking them on and off, taking them on and off. Dude, I can hear my music. You know, it's still my eye protection goes. So I would say totally check something like this out if you don't already have one. I'd say get some. They're awesome. If you're going to do this fabrication stuff and you're going to be making a lot of noise, grinding, hammering, beating on stuff, killing your ears, it's worth it. I do need to invest in some better eye protection, I'll tell you that. I have a ton of different goggles and stuff around here, but I can never find them. I don't know if you guys have that same problem. I'll be working away. I have like 10 sets of these things, and they're everywhere. And when I need a set, I can't find them. I can just find these that are all like fogged up and janky and whatever. So anyway, it is what it is. We're gonna keep going on this. I'm gonna find a place to set you guys so you can kind of see this progress and start cutting on this and beat on it and see if I can get this rear end kind of cleaned up a little bit. Here we go. Back to the action. We got one side cleaned up a little bit, at least the flanges cut off. So it was a task, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Let's see if you can get any light. I'm in the way here. Anyway, so yeah, this brake ring or brake flange, whatever you want to call it, was the hardest thing to get off, but even it wasn't that hard. It's only welded, it seems like, on one side. So the inner side, you see they go in like that, and then they weld around the perimeter on this back side. So if you take your time and you just kind of cut around the edge of it like that, you can see how I did it. I had to groove in there a little bit deeper on some areas, but I just kind of worked around that weld, and then a couple swift hits of the hammer, and it was able to kind of bust it off there. So I'll take and knock down those edges and get it nice and cleaned before I do anything or put the new flange on. But anyway, so there's one side. We got to finish up this other side, clean it up a little bit, and then we can clean up the rear end and get it ready for the new flanges and the new perches to be put on. So as soon as they come in. I think I hear kids. So there's my little one and my wife coming out here to see, or my two little ones. I didn't know Camilla's here too. Coming to, hey sweetheart, coming to say hello. Yeah, what you got in your hand? Huh? They want to take a walk? Oh.
I'm supposed to say walk.
Oh. What you got in your hand? You got an Oreo? Can I see it? That looks yummy. You want to say hi to YouTube?
What'd you say?
Do you want to say hi to YouTube?
Yes.
Just look at the camera and go, hi YouTube.
Hi YouTube.
All right. All right. We'll see y'all in a little bit. All right. Well, I'm going to keep going on this. See you back in just a second. Hopefully we'll have this all cleaned up. We'll go from there. We got the brackets cut off, and I got a little touch-up work to do on it. Get down here and show you. So I got a little overly aggressive when I was cutting into that bracket, and I actually got down into the actual tube a little bit more than what I wanted to. It didn't happen too much on the other side, but on this side I got grooved it out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'll probably weld that back up a little bit. I don't want to put any fatigue or any weak spots in this rear end anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and weld those back up, clean those up a little bit more, and then I'm going to just clean up this entire rear end, pressure wash it, soap it down, and get it all nice and clean. And I'm going to come back over here on the inner where these axle tubes actually meet the rear end housing. I'm going to go back and weld those up so they're stronger. These things have a tendency to spin these axle tubes sometimes with hard launches and that sort of thing. I'm not really launching hard. I'm not really doing any drag strip action, although we might, see what the car runs at a drag strip or something. It's really for street driving. So I don't think we're going to run into a whole lot of that. But while we're here, we might as well do it, right? So we'll strengthen up the rear end housings here. And hopefully we'll get our brackets in the mail sometime soon so we can put them in. I am going to clean this thing up and stick it under the car. Start setting the perches. I have the perches. Setting those up so we can at least see how it's going to look and test our wheel fitment. And make sure we got plenty of clearance in there so we can do that. And the only thing that's left after that is to pull it back out, weld on our disc brake brackets, and paint it up. Put the axles back in it. Here's where we're at. Got to clean this side up a little bit more. I'm going to do that now. Well, I decided I'm going to get the welder out. I'm going to weld up these little, these deeper grooves that I created here a little bit. I'm going to fill those in, clean this up a little bit, and then while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and attach the rear end housing to the tubes. Weld those up nice and strong. So we got those prepped on both sides, ready to rock and roll. So we got this all cleaned up. Any of the deep scratches or deeper cuts, I kind of welded those back up and got them ready to mount that new flange bracket on. We welded up the axle tubes. It's not the most pretty welds in the world, but they'll be nice and strong. They'll do the trick there. Didn't have to be perfect. Just needed to get the rear end and the axle tubes nice and secure. This side's done as well. So we are ready to clean this bad boy up a little bit. I'm gonna do some pressure washing, get it all cleaned up. All right, guys, let me show you what it looks like. Get my light. Let me show you what the rear end looks like. We worked on it a little bit more, cleaned it up, I painted it, and I stuck it under the car, bolted up the wheels and tires to it just so I could see how the fit was going to work out. And I think it looks pretty good, so I'll show that to you. Here we go. So get under here so you can see the fit of the tire is pretty close under here. I've got about a ½ an inch on either side of the quarter panel and the bump stop. A little over about 3/4 of an inch between our leaf spring and the tire, and everything is fitting up really nicely. Let's see if I can get some light without blinding us here. Fitting up really nicely with the disc brakes. I've got those on so I can check make sure I accounted for that extra 3/8 inch offset that's going to put on the wheels and tires. But man, this thing looks really good. The rear end turned out really nice. I'm going to put a cover on it. Don't worry, that ugly cover's coming off. I'm going to put some kind of a finned
bolstered cover, if you will, one that puts a little pressure on the main caps for the rear end. Definitely going to weld up our new perch mounts. These guys right here, they're just sitting under there so I can get the fit correct. Of course, I need to do a lot of cleanup under here and do a little undercoating or rafter liner and that sort of thing. But all in all, the rear end's looking great. Fit is good, just what the doctor ordered. And man, looks so good. Those blacked out American Racing Rodder wheels look so good under this thing. Not a ton of tire, but so much more than it had from the factory and what it had before. So it looks really good. Getting close. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Southeast Beach Up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down there. Like the videos and leave me comments, man. Let me know what you think about this thing. Let me know what you want to see. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.